Hey guys, I am back just like I promised. So, coming live from my bedroom again, sitting on the floor so that I have some good light. So my topic today is how to decrease inflammation in your body. So a lot of people who have like thyroid and autoimmune disease, they have inflammation. So I was just going to come on real quick and I wanted to, hello, hi Rachel. I wanted to come on real quick and just talk about some ways that you guys can decrease inflammation in your body. And then I will go over a couple of foods that you should be eating and foods that you should not be eating. I kind of touched upon the whole soy isolate proteins yesterday. So basically, I made notes because sometimes I get a little sidetracked and I start to digress into different topics when I come on live. But primarily, I'm focused on thyroid health and educating people on autoimmune disease like Hashimoto's and how you can, prevent the symptoms and just kind of feel better overall and start to heal your body. My AC just turned on. That's how you know it's a live video, right? So anyways, so some of the things that you want to make sure that you do is, for natural, you want to stay away from like artificial sweeteners, like this, like the stevias and like the sweet and lows and like the equals and things like that. You want to stick with, stevia or xylitol. I think I just said stay away from stevia. That's not what I meant. Stay away from like the yellow packets and the blue packets and the pink packets that you get like at, restaurants with coffee and stuff like that. That's like all artificial crap. You don't want to put that into your body. Sometimes I use honey too. If I want coffee with honey, that's another way that I sweeten things. That's natural. I use organic natural honey. Some people can't have that because they have allergies. But you also want to decrease your fruit intake. Like you want to keep your fruit servings to like 2 a day. So people don't realize, well, maybe they do, but I mean, they think, well, sugar and fruit is good. And some sugar is okay for you, but I mean, sugar is sugar, right? So it's nature's candy. We can refer to it as that. But if you're eating too much sugar and you have an autoimmune disease or you have thyroid problems or Hashimoto's, you're just going to, cause the inflammation to be worse. And ultimately, what you want to do is heal your body. So you want to make sure that you get a couple of servings of healthy fats a day. Personally, I eat usually a whole avocado a day. I mean, you don't have to go to that extreme, but a certain healthy fat is avocado, and then you can have a serving of like Brazil nuts are really good, macadamia nuts are really good. And then you want to make sure you want to stay away from gluten and soy. I mentioned that yesterday. I didn't talk about gluten as much as soy, but both of those are going to cause inflammatory process in your body. And again, some people may be looking at this video like, Jesus, like, can I eat anything? But I'm just trying to educate, because people sometimes don't realize some of the stuff that they're putting into their body or what their food contains. Because, you just don't really think about it. A lot of us live busy lives and, sometimes you're just like on the go and you just grab something to eat at like a little kiosk or, a little restaurant or like, convenience store, and you just don't realize. So coffee, you can drink coffee. Personally, I drink 1 cup of coffee, a day, but you don't want to overdo it with stimulants. I touched upon that yesterday. You can also drink green tea because that's a great way to decrease inflammation in your body. Personally, I can't drink green tea because it makes me like extremely nauseous. I think it's the tannins in the tea. That's what I've been told, that I have an allergy to that. So I stick with 1 cup of coffee a day, and I drink bulletproof coffee, which most people think is gross, but don't knock it till you try it. It's got butter in it and grass-fed butter, and it's got MCT oil. So again, that's another example of healthy fat. Let's see here. So you want to stop eating 4 hours before you go to bed. That helps. It helps your body metabolize throughout the night. And your last meal of the day should be low carb and should be gluten-free and soy-free. And then when you wake up, you want to make sure that your first meal of the day is nutrient dense. You want to fill your body with something that, it's called like bioavailability. So if you are fasting essentially, like 4 hours before you go to bed, and you figure you get 8 hours of sleep. So that's almost 12 hours that you were like fasting. So the first thing that you put into your body, you want it to be something good and healthy and nutrient dense, because then your body's going to suck up all those nutrients and it's going to love it. And it's going to give you energy for the rest of the day. Promise. I promise. It's really true. You should try it. And then come back and let me know how you feel. Also, another thing that you should be doing, and I touched upon this again, because I've been totally guilty, is you really should stay away from like a lot of cardiovascular exercise. LA3? No, I don't know what that is, Paula. I'm not sure. Oh, is that like a supplement, you mean? Like C? I think I might know what you're talking about, but I'm not 100% sure of like what the benefits are of it. But I think that's what I think it is. So some examples of anti-inflammatory vegetables include broccoli, spinach, Brussels sprouts. You know, some of you guys might hate Brussels sprouts, but personally I think they're pretty good. Green beans, cucumbers, mushrooms. I love all that stuff. Carrots, celery. Yes, honey? Sure. My son's knocking on my door. I'm doing a live video, hon. What's up?
Dry my clothes.
Yeah, they're in the dryer.
Okay.
Brennan, you want to come over and say hi on the camera? Come here.
No.
Come say hi. Come on. Real life. My son. First it was my husband, now it's my son. Say hi, Bren.
Hi.
That's my 13-year-old son, who's like almost 6 feet tall. Say hi. Yes, your football clothes are in the dryer.
Okay.
All right, honey.
Thank you.
You're welcome. And so I touched upon nuts. So anti-inflammatory nuts. Brazil nuts are great for thyroid people. Walnuts, macadamia nuts, healthy fat, and anti-inflammatory. And pumpkin seeds are awesome. And actually, I have a great recipe for pumpkin seeds. I roast them, and they're so good. Let's see. Proteins, you can eat tuna. You can eat wild salmon, halibut, chicken, turkey. You want to try to stay away from pork, and you want to try to stick with lean and organic as much as you possibly can. So, you know, inflammation in the body is normal to a certain extent, but when you have an autoimmune disease, of course, it's worse. And the only way to heal your body is kind of from the inside out. So trust me, on some of these tips, if you try them, you probably will be amazed at how much better you start to feel. If you start to really acknowledge some of the foods that you're putting into your body and really start thinking about it. Water is a huge thing too. You got to drink that water. So usually it's about half your body weight in ounces that you're supposed to drink. So, you know, hormonal issues, autoimmune problems, family history of, you know, thyroid disease, Hashimoto's. Those are the people that should be trying this kind of stuff. It's going to help your skin, you know, it's going to help your hair. A lot of people who have autoimmune problems, they lose their hair, it's thin. I was talking about earlier, you lose your eyebrows right over here. And you'll feel better. You're going to have more energy. You're going to be less constipated. Your mood is going to improve, and you're probably going to sleep better too. So you really would be amazed. And so back to the exercise, try to stay away from the huge amounts of cardio, because you just burn the thyroid, you burn the adrenals, and your body just can't take it, especially when you're trying to heal it from the inside out. So sticking to things like, you know, you can do high intensity interval training a couple times a week. You can do walking, you can do yoga, all those things, stretching, and then just, you know, really just focusing on just feeling better. So I challenge everybody to do it for a week. I challenge everybody to pay attention to what you're putting into your body. Take some tips on some of the foods. I'm going to write a blog after this too. So, cause this video is just a quick video, but, so if some of you guys don't catch it live or don't feel like listening to me spiel, you guys can read it. And I'll list a few foods that you should try to eat, and try to do it for like a week and see how you feel. You might be amazed, that you start to feel better. And, you know, maybe it could be like a slow change. And, I don't know, just all I'm doing is trying to, like, you know, help people, because I have experienced it and I finally found what worked for me. And I do feel like it works for a lot of other people who are dealing with some of the same crap. So ultimately, you know, if you have a thyroid, I mean, like I don't have a thyroid, so obviously I'm going to be on medication for the rest of my life. But if you have Hashimoto's, you can heal your body and eventually maybe not have to take medication for the rest of your life. So you'd be surprised once you start really paying attention and even looking at some of the products that you're using like in everyday life, like lotions, perfume, your shampoos, your makeup. You start looking at some of that stuff and some of the ingredients, like you'd be amazed. Like, I'm not going to get all preachy on everybody and earthy crunchy, but I do believe that that's why there is a higher incidence of cancer and things like that because of the stuff that we put into our bodies, the stuff that we breathe in, the chemicals. So I just think it's multifactorial. And one of the biggest culprits for inflammation is actually dairy. So if you are like a dairy person, like milk and like cheese, try to cut that down. Prepackaged foods, bad fats, don't stay away from that, and sugar. Those are like your main things that are going to cause inflammation in your body. Dairy, sugar, bad fats, packaged foods. Grains, I know. Like eating like bread and, you know, just like refined things like that. Soy, I keep talking about soy. It's bad. Corn. Processed meats, like the nitrates in the meats, try to stay away from that, like cold cuts. You don't realize. If I, God forbid, like if I eat like cold cuts, like I used to get like severe migraines when I would eat cold cuts and nitrates. Same thing with wine too. I can't drink wine because of the nitrates. Bad headache. And again, this may happen to some people and they don't even realize why it's happening. Let's see, alcohol. Yep, hate to say it, alcohol causes inflammation. You know, and honestly, like I'm not a big drinker. I don't really like to drink. I don't really like alcohol, but if I'm going to drink, I'm drinking like tequila shot, vodka shot. You know what I'm saying? Like my new drink, like, cause again, I don't really drink, but I would drink like Tito's vodka with like a splash of like soda water, and that's like the most natural thing. So again, if you have to drink, you know, just think wisely. Like beer is probably the worst thing for you. Sorry guys, but you know, especially, I mean, you know, go ahead and drink your beer. I don't care. You know, I'm not judging, whatever. But just know that if you have thyroid problems and autoimmune, it's just going to increase inflammation in your body and you're not going to feel good. So alcohol is a huge culprit. And then artificial flavors, artificial coloring, things like that. When I had to go on a special diet for my radioactive iodine treatment to like ablate all of my thyroid cells, I had to like go on a special diet, and I couldn't eat like red dye or like certain dye that was in food. So I had to like look at every single thing that I put into my mouth and look at the ingredients, and it was like I couldn't eat anything. It was like crazy. Like everything has dye in it. You don't even realize. Like red dye 33. Like you don't even realize. So sometimes when you have to like, when you're forced into a certain diet because you have a medical problem, it's kind of amazing, and it's like hugely eye-opening. So that was like amazing to me that I couldn't even find foods that didn't have dye and artificial coloring in it. It was just crazy. Not to mention the stuff that we give our kids, you know? So it's just kind of crazy. And then also one of the other things that I eat like on a daily basis is coconut oil. And I know there's huge controversy, especially in the news lately, about coconut oil, whether it's really good for you or whether it's really bad for you. I actually remember when I was in nurse practitioner school, one of my classmates and I, like, we would eat coconut oil, and they like were teaching us about bad fats and cholesterol, and they were like, and coconut oil is the worst thing. Me and her kind of like looked at each other and we're like, oh, we thought it was good. But honestly, there is research out there. You'd have to be careful where the research is coming from. But coconut oil has many benefits. And it does reduce inflammation. And I swear by it. You know, you can do other things with it besides eating it. So those are my tips for today. And like I said, I usually, you know, write everything up in a more organized fashion because I tend to ramble sometimes. You know, you guys can always ask questions or, you know, interact. I wouldn't mind. And then I could answer you. But I tend to ramble. But again, like I said, I will post something online later, and I'll talk to you guys tomorrow. Okay, bye.